So good morning, everyone. Thanks so much for joining me for Coffee Conversations. Today is a treat. It's Jes Nijjer. I love her. She also makes me look really good. So 9 times out of 10, if I post a headshot or any photo that is anything other than a selfie, she took this photo. So Jes is a professional photographer, obviously. She's also now general manager of Small Victories Hospitality, which you locals will know is Coat Check, Provider, Strange Bird, 600 other things that I'm going to forget, but all amazing and delicious. Jes, thanks for joining me.
Hey, thanks for having me.
I'm so
excited to be
excited.
doing this.
Yeah. So tell us what you do. Like, what's a day for you? Like, what do you do?
Yeah, a day for me is it varies,
Yeah.
but a lot of days it looks like checking in on any of our shops. I might start my day at Coat Check and then work over to Provider and then go to our Irvington locations. I get to work with some really incredible people.
Yeah.
It's such a blessing to be able to work with so many friends too. But yeah, I get to just kind of work with people and help them in any areas they need and make sure that everything is running smoothly at all of our shops and just work on any of our upcoming projects. We have a few new locations we're working on and
Yeah.
yeah, it's a lot of people based communication based work,
I
checking in
love it.
and being supportive. Yeah.
Well, a couple things. One, obviously, you have the best access to coffee ever. So
Always.
super jealous. But also, I forgot, didn't they also start a garden, an urban garden?
Yes. Yeah, we have
I should
a
say
small
farm. I
little
shouldn't just
farm
say farm.
patch. Yes.
That's
Yeah.
amazing. I love
Yeah.
everything that team is doing. And I'm a little jealous that you're part of it now. Um, so how'd you get there? How'd you get to that point?
So it's interesting, actually. My two areas of work combined kind of brought me here.
Mhm.
I have a background in working in restaurants and just in
Okay.
business in general. And then I kind of got a little burnt out from the 9 to 5, as we do. And about 5 years ago, I was looking for something different, and I just picked up photography as a hobby. And it started to snowball into work, and so I just let it go on.
Yeah.
And the first place I ever worked with, you might remember, was Open Society in Broad Ripple,
Oh,
which closed
yeah.
a few years ago. But yeah,
Yeah.
that was my first photo client. So that's where I met Neil Warner, who now owns Small Victories.
Yeah.
And so that was my first client. And then from there, when he opened Coat Check, I went and started doing photography there. So they've always been like one of my biggest or my more constant clients for photography. And I've done just like various odd jobs with Small Victories through the years, like being a barista at Coat Check or, helping open Provider, just various things like that. And so now that I'm not constantly on the go because obviously I'm not traveling these days with photography. It gave me some time to kind of slow down and settle in a little bit here.
Yeah.
And the opportunity just kind of presented itself with Small Victories. I was going to start out just by doing like employee advocacy and really, really focused on making sure that everyone that works there doesn't just see it as like coming into work, clocking in and out,
Oh, I
but
love that.
they have like a path. Yeah. And I think service work in general just has
Yeah.
like, first, just stigma associated with it for some reason. And two, it's seen as kind of like, I guess I'll do this in the interim of whatever else I'm trying to get to.
Yeah.
And I would love people to see this as their career path if they're interested in that. So whether that's as a baker or a barista or a bartender or any
Yeah.
number of things. Yeah. So it started there with just getting to know every one of my coworkers' hopes and dreams, essentially. And then it grew into general management. So I do still get to maintain that as well. So that's probably the best part of my job, I think.
Oh my gosh, I love that. As someone who married someone in the service industry, he's not now, bartender, owner, food truck owner, like all that stuff.
Yeah.
I get it. It's, there's a special breed of humans that are service industry people, and they're kind of my
Yeah,
um
totally.
okay, so how you got there, amazing. Tell me, it has got to be hard being a photographer, a professional photographer in a pandemic, right?
It's a little tricky.
So tell struggle? Like, how's that been?
Yeah, it definitely changed the way that I work significantly. I was just in the last like year or two, I was getting more into traveling with my work
Mhm.
and working in other cities, and that's of course a long shot these days. But even locally, a lot of my work was centered around small businesses and restaurants, and these days, there's just no budget for something like that,
Yeah.
obviously. So it's definitely been kind of a challenge in just recognizing that. And I took several months off last year in the lockdown and just, you know, was in hibernation basically. And I decided to come back and like I'm fortunate enough that, my personal expenses, my day to day is very limited. I'm able to, you know, make it work
Yeah.
without even if I don't know like what's the next biggest client kind of thing.
Yeah.
So I still want to work with restaurants and small businesses and they still need photography. It's just that there's no budget for it really.
Yeah.
So I just kind of shifted the way that I do that so that now um, any small business or restaurant or anyone that needs photography, I just do like a pretty much pay what is comfortable to you
Oh,
or make installments or whatever that might look like. And
yeah.
let's at least get you like a basic, foundation of some photos that you can use for marketing.
Oh my gosh, I love that. Because it's true, you're investing yourself, granted, in some of your time into the world we want to see when we come out of this. And I
Exactly.
totally respect that. And I love that. And I should say, when I say professional photographer to people, yes, she takes beautiful photos of humans, but you take sexy photos of food. Like, because when you say restaurants, I just want to be very clear.
Yeah, thank you.
They're different, but very, very good. So where have you found, some of your delight in all of this? And in some of that
Yeah,
struggle too. Some of that's beautiful.
totally. Yeah, I think my biggest struggle has been not being able to see people, and because
Yeah.
I'm so extroverted and I otherwise live such a social life. Most of my life is outside of my home all the time, so that's been definitely a struggle. But it's been really nice to slow down and focus on the more artistic side of my work
Hmm.
and just diving back into older work that I've made and working with it again, giving it a new spin. But I think also with people, it's more personalized now in some areas where before I was doing like choose your price headshots,
Hmm.
and I would set up in a public space, or like a coffee shop or
Yeah.
something. And I would have like 50 to 100 people come in to get their headshots and pay whatever is comfortable. So I still do that, but now it's very one-on-one because
Yeah.
of course we don't want, large groups of people. So I still offer that, but it's very like individualized appointments. I'll go out into like 100-acre woods with someone or like Broad Ripple Park or something like that. So it's really nice that I still get to do that, but have so much more of
Yeah.
like a unique and personalized experience with every person. But not seeing people just sitting in coffee shops is
Yeah.
one of like my biggest struggles. I didn't know that I would miss it that much,
Being
you know?
someone who likes to sit in coffee shops, I agree with you.
Yeah. That's where we first met.
It's so true. Over coffee, always.
Mhm.
So, okay. So I mean, I just can't get over how much I just love how much you're investing yourself back into the community. So what can the community do to show up for you? And I'm going to call you out if you don't say it, because I know you have a dream of something that you want to do. So
I
I want you to put it
do.
out into the
Yes.
universe.
Thank you. Okay. So thank you first for giving me a platform to say that. My
Yes.
dream, the thing that I like just will daydream about for hours is photographing a cookbook,
Yeah.
any kind of recipe book, really, whether it's food or cocktails or coffee drinks, anything like that. I just really want to help put together recipe books. And the other thing is working kind of the similar kind of work, but for like a food or beverage magazine. So I
Yes.
just want like the whole production, food flying everywhere, strobe light,
Yes.
all of that. Yeah.
I love that. And I mean, again, you make food look good. And everyone is on Instagram who's like, I can take a photo of a food. Bullshit. There. And we're like, I'm going to take a quick photo of my food. I see everyone, or before pandemic, like taking photos of their food at brunch. Like, I get it. I do it too. But trust me when I say hers look better. I promise. So I'm so glad you put that onto the universe, because I love that dream for you. And I think that is super beautiful. So with all the beauty that you're doing and putting out, and, you know, creating the world you want to see at the end of the pandemic, and doing your part, how, Jes, how do you want to leave your trace on indie? Maybe more than indie?
Yeah. Ooh. I always come to communication, I think, at the center of everything I'm trying to do. Even in art, even in photography. I mean, it's a way of communicating what you're doing or what you take pride in. And now in my work with Small Victories too, I think it all comes down to communication. So I think if I didn't have to work, if we have universal basic income or something, if I'm not, you know, doing anything that I have to and just what I want to and enjoy and what I want to share with people, I think it would just be communication. It would just be communicating effectively myself and helping others do the same, and talking through just like the nuance of, you know, the ways we think that certain things are personal to us and yet we all do them, and just kind of relating in a more honest way and being more transparent with each other. If I could just, you know, grab a stranger off the street every time and be like, let's talk about effective communication. Are you doing it right? That's what I would do. That's my trace, is I want to leave some kind of impact in the way we communicate.
I love that. Just, that was so perfect. What a great conversation. Thank you so much for just waking up this morning and having coffee with me.
Thank you. This was so fun.
Oh, good. Have a wonderful rest of your day.
You too.